So here's what I have now. I have factored it out. So I've pulled out the x minus 4. Well, I still got to keep going here. I'm not done. So I still have to take this x squared minus 2x plus 2, and I have to factor this. So I have to keep on going. So I want you to go ahead and see if you can go ahead and factor this quadratic by yourself. But before you do that, look right here, x minus 4. I already have a solution, right? One of my solutions to this whole thing is x equals 4. Now, I only have 2 more to find. So if I factor these, and obviously this is still set equal to 0, but if I factor these and I get something here, bam, I'm done. Okay? So I know I have 3 because, right, this third degree, I'm going to have 3 solutions. And of course, this x minus 4 is down here, but I don't really need to put it. But anyway, so I just have to factor this. So I want you to go ahead and try it. So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can factor this. And go. Okay, so if you're back now, hopefully you found that you actually can't factor that quadratic. It's impossible. But the beauty of it is now we get to use the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula, if you don't remember it, it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, if you need some help with the quadratic formula and using it, I would go ahead and click on the video to the right, and that will help explain what the quadratic formula is and how to use it. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and continue. So go ahead and check that video out if you need to, or watch me do this. And if you're going, whoa, I don't understand that, obviously go back and watch the video. But here we go. So I'm going to go ahead. I can't factor it. It's completely impossible. I'm just going to jump right to the quadratic formula. I have 2 plus or minus square root b squared negative 2. That gives me a 4 minus 4ac, and 4ac, 4 times 1 times 2 gives me 8, and that's all over 2 times a, which is 1, which gives me a 2 on the bottom. Good. So now, so here's the part where if you're going, where in the world did he just get those numbers? At that point, you need to go ahead and watch the video in the right upper hand corner, letting you know what the quadratic formula is and how to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue here to simplify this. So I've set it up, and I just need to simplify. And what I'm doing here is I'm finding my other 2 solutions. And 4 minus 8 is negative 4 all over 2. Okay, huge red flag right here, the square root of negative 4. What that tells me, okay, what that tells me when I have a negative under the radical is that I have an imaginary root, or I have an imaginary solution, imaginary numbers, right? So that's why I couldn't factor it right there. I couldn't factor it because it's imaginary numbers. I can still keep on simplifying it though. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that I out. So I'm going to pull out the square root of negative 1 to make my I. So I get I square root of 4 all over 2. Now, if you're going, what in the world is that I? And you have never seen that before, go ahead and click on the video in the upper right hand corner, and that will go ahead and explain what imaginary numbers are and kind of what I'm doing here. But anyway, so go ahead and check out imaginary numbers first if you didn't understand that step right there. Alright, so here we go. I'm just going to continue. So hopefully you now know what imaginary numbers are. And I'm just going to simplify. The square root of 4 is 2. I'm just going to jump down here to give myself more room. So I have 2 plus or minus square root of 4 is 2. So I have 2i, and that's all over 2. And now I can go ahead and simplify. I'm just going to pull out a 2, a GCF of 2. So then this equals 2 times. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to simplify the 2 in the denominator there. I've got 1 plus or minus 1i, which I can just put the I there. I don't really need that 1, just like any value of x or anything. And this is all over 2. And the reason I just pulled that 2 out is because of this reason right here. I can now cross these 2's out, and I am left with 1 plus or minus I. Okay, now I've simplified it. What this gives me is my other two solutions. So I have right here, one of my solutions is x equals 4. So I have a solution of x equals 4. I already had that when I started, but then that's where I got the x equals 4 from the, x minus 4 right there, the factor. Well, and I figured it out way back when. But anyways, so then I looked at x squared minus 2x plus 2. I'm still looking for two solutions for x. I used the quadratic formula to do this, and in the end I got 1 plus or minus I. That right there gives me two solutions because x equals 1 plus I, and I have a solution of 1 minus I. So I have right here my three solutions to the polynomial x to the third minus 6x squared plus 10x minus 8. So that is huge, what we just did. So let's kind of recap. I basically, I'm going to go ahead and click back. I basically looked at solving the polynomial. I had to factor that 8 to find possible solutions. I tested each one of them out. I found, oh, 4 works. So then I went so if 4 is a solution, x minus 4 is a factor. So then on the next slide, click over real quick. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Then I went x minus 4 is a factor. Okay, let's go ahead and factor that out using long division. So I used long division to pull out that x minus 4 and gave me x squared minus 2x plus 2. And what that told me is that x minus 4 times x squared minus 2x plus 2 are two factors of the original polynomial. So then I already knew what one of my solutions was, x equals 4. I just needed 2 more. So then I took x squared minus 2x plus 2, see if I could factor it. I couldn't. So then I used the quadratic formula to go ahead and solve for my 1 plus or minus I, which of course got into imaginary numbers, which of course is why I couldn't factor it in the first place. Awesome. So let's recap the whole thing. So tools to solve a third degree polynomial. So you have a few things in your toolbox that I've kind of added to help you out. Factoring, which whether you're factoring out a GCF or factoring quadratic, those are tools that you should just do right from the get-go. See if you can factor it all out. Factoring is a lot easier. Okay? Then let's say using quadratic formula and long division. Quadratic formula can only be used, of course, with a quadratic. So once you have used long division to pull out something, then you can use quadratic formula. Or let's say GCF and you've pulled that GCF out, and then you have a quadratic left and you try and factor it and you can't, then of course you'd have to use quadratic formula secondly. But first, always see if you can factor, because factoring really is quite a bit quicker and really less room for errors than using the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula, even though it's a pretty straightforward equation, a lot of times you'll make a sign error or just something simple. So anyways, and then of course you have long division, which is basically after you know what a solution is, then you can use long division to factor out for example, the x minus 4 that we did. So you have factoring, not only factoring GCF, but factoring quadratic. You have the quadratic formula and long division. I hope this video helps, and we'll talk to you later.